Hi everyone, welcome back. So in this next video, we're going to continue on with the workflow of making our 3D model by aligning the two chunks to create one whole model. So as I showed you last video, we went through the alignment process and the dense cloud. At this step, we're going to stop at the dense cloud and create both sides of the model and then align them together. So I have the top side here in chunk one, and we can rename this to make it a bit more simpler. So I could do side one, and the base of the model is going to be in this chunk. Side two, you could also name it top and bottom or rim and base, whatever works. So one side of the model is in this one, and the other side is here. So we have the base. So there are two ways to do this. One is by doing point-based alignment, which is basically the same routine as aligning all the photographs together in the first place. Or there's also marker-based alignment, and that's how to manually tell the software where the two chunks are going to align together. So I'm going to show you both, starting with the automatic alignment or the point-based alignment. So if we go into workflow and go down to align chunks, we will see a few options here. So both of the chunks that I want to align are checked, and I want point-based alignment. And I want the accuracy to be high, and everything else looks okay. Okay, so it's done processing. So now we want to see if it worked by doing point-based alignment. So to check that, we go to this tool up here, which is show align chunks, and press that. And now we see that both of the sides are together in one view. So it looks like it worked pretty well, actually. Yeah, they seem to line up. And you can see that there's a lot of extra data laying on top of one another, and that's why it gets kind of, yeah, it looks a bit messy here. So we can see, if we turn it on and off again, you can see exactly how it lined up. And you can see them by both sides by clicking the different chunks. Yeah, so that looks pretty good. So now to get rid of all this redundant overlapping data, I just want to clean it up by using the selection tool. And depending on which side I'm on, I want to remove it from the other chunk. So if I highlight the bottom area and press X, delete, then we have just the second chunk on the bottom. And I can do the same by going to side two and remove some data from the top. There you go. So yeah, just kind of cleaning it up. You'll see that there is some color changes due to light, inconsistent lighting, as we talked about before. Luckily, when you build the texture, it will kind of blend it all together, so it won't be as noticeable as it is now. And so when we're happy with that, after we've cleaned everything up, we would go back into workflow and go to merge chunks. And clicking both of these chunks again, merge dense cloud and merge models. Press OK, and then it will create a new chunk of one complete model. But before we do that, I want to show you the other option for aligning. So if we turn this off, and I want to go back and make sure that I have all the data still. So we can do the marker-based alignment here. However, we need to put some markers in first to tell it exactly where it's going to align. So this is more of a more involved step and requires you to be quite precise about the work. So what I'm going to do is pick a part of the model that is visible on both of the chunks. So if I notice this flower here, this is visible on both chunks. One is better quality, of course, but that's okay. If I go into side 2, I can see that the center is full of holes, so I don't want to use this part. I want to use maybe over here, one of these petals. So if I right click on a specific part, maybe right at the tip here, I can click add marker. And to make the marker show up, I go up into here, show markers, and there you can see 0.1. If we open up our chunks here, you can see the markers. So if I want to tell the software to align this part with the other side, then I need to put a marker in that exact same location on this part, in this chunk. So I put the marker right here on this petal. I go in here and put it on the exact same location. It's sometimes easier to make multiple markers in one area, make a screenshot, and then go into the other side and view the screenshot while you're putting in more markers instead of going back and forth and trying to remember where you'd put all the markers. So I'm going to put a few more on throughout the model and skip ahead in the video, and we'll come back to it. Okay, so I've added 4 markers all spread out throughout the model and in the exact same location on each side. So now I'll go back into workflow, click align chunks, and go into marker based and make sure both of the chunks are selected and press OK. And this processing time is usually quite quick. So we just turn on align chunks and it's already done. So you can see almost exactly aligned. And yeah, so not bad. We just inspect it by turning everything on and off again. It looks like it's exactly in the same location. So the next step is, as I mentioned, merging these 2 chunks together. After you've cleaned them up, of course. So you go into merge chunks I don't really need to merge these markers anymore because yeah, there's no need for them anymore. If they were on a scale bar, then I would want to merge markers, but yeah, these points have served their purpose already, so that's okay. And it will start processing. Okay, once it's done processing, you'll see that a new chunk has appeared called merged chunks. And we can turn off the aligned chunks, and we have one complete model here. And now we can continue with the workflow by building our mesh and then the texture. So that's basically it for aligning and merging chunks. One other thing I want to show you in case you run into some problems with either of these steps. So after you have aligned the chunks and you find that the two sides just aren't matching up, the software cannot figure it out, you can manually put them together. However, this isn't the best practice because you do run into more errors and it becomes a less reliable model. But to show you how to do it, you're going to click one of the sides and use the object tool. And so you can move around the chunk. And then so you can manually put it in, place it exactly where you want it to be. And you can rotate it if necessary. Depending, yeah. Yeah, usually this is not necessary, but it's always good to know that this option is available. Okay, there we go.